Hello, me compadres, Brian the Boat here today with finally Sunday, not Sunday, Salvation Sunday video. I am sorry that I'm posting this video very late. It's just that today time wasn't very merciful to me. But I am trying, and hopefully I will be able to upload this today, right now. Hopefully you'll be able to see it at 11. So let's just hope that everything goes as planned, hopefully, and it will upload, and you guys will be able to see today's Salvation Sunday. Now, before I go over the subject, I want to tell you something that goes along with the subject. My school. Before I went to 9th grade, I didn't really appreciate my school. I felt like school was just like a place where you just learn things. But then, like, they didn't really care. That's what I felt. And I felt like others felt the thing that I felt as well about my school, that they didn't really care, not only for our education, but for our self-sanity. So, like, I feel like if there was, like, something going wrong with our lives, they wouldn't care. I think they would just point us somewhere else, and so that bothered a lot of people. And so, sense of enlightenment of recent events, Briarwood, my school, decided to change up little things. Instead of actually not caring, they actually started caring. But in reality, they did care all this time, but we never saw that or heard of that. So we'd always expected them to just not care about our lives. So we just went with that assumption and just went on thinking of that. But because of their announcement, now we know that they actually do care, because they want to do a group called GAP. I don't know why it's called GAP, but I am not the person who names them, but it's called GAP for a reason. But GAP, what it is a small group where we come together and talk about something. We had a GAP group on Friday, and all we did was write down on a piece of paper of like what our teacher or mentor wants to know about us, not what we want them to know, which I thought was pretty interesting how he worded that. But that's pretty much what we did for that day. Now, I'm not saying that's what we're gonna do for the entire series of GAP, but that's what we did on Friday, and I thought that was really interesting. But a lot of people complained, saying that like, oh no, we have to do this and that. But really, in reality, we gotta be grateful for the things that we don't see, and then when the things we see, we have to be grateful for those, because like if we don't, then we always take things like not for granted, but like you see them as bad things, and you turn those things into like huge things. And so like if there's like a bad thing going on and it's super small, you tend to make it bigger than it is. And then there's like one huge thing that was very important that day, you take it and then you make it so small that it gets covered by the small bad things in your day that you turn big. So like in your mind, they seem huge, like mountains, but in others people's eyes, they see them as pebbles or something like that. And that's really troublesome if you want to get help with that, because you see it this way, but they can't see it this way because they see it in another way, and you're trying to explain it, but they don't understand, and it's like a mess, a huge mess, and like you can't make them understand your pain of some sorts, and like it comes to a point where you can't find people to help you. So if you want to not go to that area in your life, then I suggest you go and look at the things that you have that you should be grateful for, because I think I've already went a video over this, but like you gotta look at the small things in life. The small things are actually the big things, because you actually turn them into small things, but you need to realize that you need to open your eyes a little bit more and just make those things reappear, or just make them bigger. So in that case, what I looked at GAP, first of all, I thought in my opinion, that it was a good thing. I didn't see it as a bad thing or anything, but I thought it was something actually good that Briarwood actually wants to reach out because of recent events last year, which I don't think I'm allowed to say anything about that, but I mean, I'm just gonna put it right there that something happened during the school year that was actually really bad, that cost a lot of things, and so Briarwood decided to, actually reach out and try to communicate with us because everyone, I think, hasn't really felt the communication of the staff at Briarwood or Briarwood in general. For us, I think Briarwood is just another school that has to be another obstacle. So it's kind of difficult for a lot of us because we don't want to be at home, but we want to get out. But none of us who want to leave the house want to go to another place where we're going to suffer again. You see where I'm going with? Because you want to go somewhere that's your safe haven. Now, leaving your house is like, if you have problems in your house, that's one step further, not only away from a solution, but away from an isolation. But it depends on your isolation, I think, that it would be good or bad. Like, if you always stay isolated by yourself, then I guess not. But if you isolate yourself from your family, with people, I guess that would be okay for now, but later is going to affect everything. And there's going to be a point in your life when you have to confront your family and say, hey, this was wrong, or this is how I felt, how it went through, and go stuff like that. I haven't done that yet. But trust me, it's hard. It really is difficult because you feel like that they might misunderstand or they just don't get it and they just get mad and stuff, and it's like very difficult because you can't really communicate with them, and it's just out of the question sometimes. You think it's out of the question, but it's always a good time and a good day to ask your parents if they can talk, and if they say yes, then that's a good opportunity. But just try not to criticize them too much before they're just like, okay, that's enough. Just try to give them like good compliments and stuff, but also like give them what the problem is. Don't be shy about it as well, but don't make it too chokeful where it just becomes an argument and you're just complaining. You don't need to complain to them when you're talking to them. You just need to explain what the situation is in your life and see how you guys can fix it in your any other way you guys see fit to fix a situation that you need to figure out. So if I needed to get stuff fixed, I think I would just have to go to my parents or my sister to get it fixed. I'm not sure what your situation is, but trust me, there's always a way to fix a problem. There's no such thing as an impossible problem. There's always a solvable solution. Besides 0 divided by 0. I mean, like, that's obviously not a dividable thing. Have you asked Siri about that? I mean, if you ask Siri, I think something goes like, you have 0 cookies, and like, no, I mean, like, see it this way. You have 0 cookies, and you want to share them with 0 friends. See how it goes? Now Cookie Monster is sad, and you are sad because you have no friends. And that doesn't make really... Like, what I just said doesn't make really sense. Doesn't make any sense there, what I said. But, like, when Siri says it, it makes a lot of sense, and it's hilarious. Because, like, that's, like, uncharacteristic about Siri. Like, you always thought of her as that stupid retard and that little iPad of yours or iPhone when you're trying to say 6 plus 2 and it said Safari plus something, and it's just like really random. Like, you say it so clearly. Ooh, that was a voice crack. When you say it so clearly, and then like Siri just takes it and then just screws it over and then says something else out of like nowhere close to that, and you're just like, why did I even ask you in the first place? That's a problem with like voice, like stuff like that, because you say something and then the next thing you know it's taking you somewhere else that you never even expected them to take you. You're just like, okay, I'm done. I'm just gonna type it like a normal decent person. So you could do that, but like we got way out of track with that. But I think I'm done with my point here, that you need to look at the things in life that are good and don't look at the things that are bad. Of course, you need to look at them at some point so you don't repeat that mistake. That's what the past is for, so you can look at it and then take from it and then use it for your advantage, so that, let's say, putting your finger in a pencil sharpener and you press a button, that's not okay. Now when you see that pencil sharpener, not only are you going to say to yourself, I'm not going to put my finger in there, but you're going to say, I'm going to stay away from that monstrosity of a machine. So, not only that, so you get scarred and you learn a lesson. So if you ever put your finger in a pencil sharpener, I'm going to tell you it's going to be a lot of pain for you and a lot of blood. And if your teacher can't handle blood, you're in big trouble, because I heard of a teacher in 4th grade in my school that could not handle blood. So if you started bleeding, you can't go to her because she will faint. And so you need to go to someone else, and that would be a big trouble if, like, you were in your class and you're bleeding and she's like, oh, I can't do it, no, go somewhere else. That's gonna be really awkward, just like going down a hallway when your hand's bleeding, just like, don't mind me, my hand's just bleeding and I might die in the next 5 minutes, but don't worry, just let me go downstairs. And it's like 2 flights of stairs, and so you just gotta walk carefully, and you can't have your blood pumping, or else, like, your hand's gonna, like, bleed out more because blood is more pushing out. Like, stuff like that. I don't know. I better stop talking before I say something else that doesn't make any sense. So that's going to be the end of this video. Thank you everyone for watching. If you like this video, give it a like to support the Red Guard. And this is Brian the Bode signing out. Stay bold out there. Ciao!